Good morning. Is it on? Is it on? Okay, I'm petrified to be up here, actually, but I want to be up here, so it's a very funny feeling. And I'm going to read, I hope that'll be okay, because I'm going to read it, because when I'm nervous, I don't even know how to talk, never mind form sentences, so I will read this. I hope that's okay. The reason why I'm up here this morning, besides Pastor Abe asking, and Leigh-Ann putting that bug in his ear, I feel it is important to tell others about what God is doing and has done in our lives and his faithfulness to his people. God is so faithful and loving. He cares about even the little things in life, never mind a big healing project like he did in my life. I would like to share a part of my healing journey with you. A year ago, I would have had to have help getting up these stairs. And look at me today. In October 2021, that's like 14 months ago, I guess, I was diagnosed with breast cancer metastasized to the bone, stage 4. My first bout with cancer was in 2015. Those of you who are familiar with cancer, and I'm sure each one here has been touched in some way, know when it's stage 4, basically it means no cure, treatment can prolong life for a while. Thankfully, there are exceptions to the rule. We came home from the hospital numb with shock. I was sent home with all the props I would need: a wheelchair, a walker, shower stall, bathroom bars, parking permit even, a wheelchair parking permit, and a hospital bed, which I refused because that felt too much like, okay, I'm going to be dying, and strong painkillers to keep the pain in check. They started me on a hormone treatment immediately, which consists of an injection once a month, then 3 weeks of a pill which I take daily, which I'm still on. You guys here are a part of my healing journey. When we started attending here a year ago, we were at a pretty low time in our lives. Beside my diagnosis and with the death of Stan's brother and all the difficulties that the restrictions at the time caused, we hadn't lost our faith, but were struggling with where we belonged and where we would fit in. Our first Sunday here, Pastor Urban and Roberta invited us to their house for lunch. We will never forget that they prayed for us before we left. A few Sundays later, Pastor Urban asked if they could pray for me. A bunch of you came around me and specifically prayed for healing. It was overwhelming. We'll never forget that. And Bonita, I'm sorry she's not here. She's in the nursery. She probably won't forget it either, and if you want to know why, ask her. Bonita, I call you my prayer warrior. Thank you all so much for praying for me. You probably had more faith in my healing than I did that Sunday. The week before, I had gotten the results of my latest scans. My results were dire. I had numerous tumors on my spine, ribs, hips, pelvis, and spots on my liver and lungs. I had activity in my neck and brain that in all likeliness would become cancer. That's a lot of cancer that God had to make disappear. My next scan in August showed marked improvement. The following scan in October showed still improving, and I even got a call from my oncologist who was so excited that the treatment I was on was working really well for me. I still had a tumor on my pelvis and one of my ribs, but no organs had cancer. Things were looking good. Is it God answering the prayers of his people? Absolutely. These days, I am pain-free and able to do what I need to do. Praise the Lord. I don't know what my future holds, but I know who holds my future, and that is such a comfort. I am enjoying life. I love being a grandma. I love that I have the energy to babysit my 4 grandkids, and they're my biggest fan club. They wanted to sit here, and they're waving at me. I love having 2 of them sitting with us every Sunday, with Sherry and Tim, my oldest daughter. I loved it. I could have all 5 of my daughters sitting on the bench right here with me a few Sundays ago. Someone told me they had been counting them to see if they were all there. Today there's 3 of them here. That had not happened for a very long time, and I treasure moments like these. So my health is an answer to prayer, or as I call it, it's a miracle. 14 months ago, I needed a walker to get around, and now I'm going for mile-long walks and the rest. Oh, it's great. Thanks. I would like to share 2 more answers to prayer in our last year. There's been many, but I will share 2. We've had our struggles, but when I look back, I mostly remember a year of answered prayer, God moments of peace and joy, reminders of God's faithfulness, and also a church where we have found strength and healing. Isaiah 41, verse 10, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." A bit of background on this answer to prayer. I had been having pain in my hip that was causing a limp, approximately middle of May 2021. It was steadily getting worse over the summer. In August, I dug out a cane we had in the basement, a cane that one of Stan's friends had made for him out of a tree in his backyard like 30 years ago. By the way, I got a lot of compliments on how cool it was. In September, my limp and pain was still getting worse, more and more difficult to get around. So I dug out another cane we had in our basement. Apparently our basement is full of treasures. This one belonged to Stan's grandpa, which we had bought at their auction sale, also about 30, 40 years ago. By this time, I was set. I had 2 very mismatched canes and I was set. By this time, I had had x-rays, physio, massage, osteopath, naturopath. Nobody could figure out what was going on. So, despite my limping and pain, we decided to go visit our kids in Edmonton. They're here with us. They have moved to Winnipeg and they're here with us today. They had not found a church yet, so that was one thing we wanted to do with them. We left home early Saturday morning, planned to spend Sunday with them and leave for home Monday morning. So a short visit. About midway through the 14-hour drive, we decided to stop, stretch our legs, and switch drivers. Stan got out and walked around the car, and silly me thought it was too much of a hassle to get the canes from the back seat and hobble around. I would just climb over the console. Well, my foot slipped, and halfway over, and I came down really hard. Found out later I had a fractured pelvis, likely due to the weakened bones because of the cancer. By the time we got to the hotel, the pain was almost unbearable. Painkillers did nothing. By morning, I needed help to get out of bed. Stan had to even help me off the toilet. I was in so much pain. Sorry about that, but Stan sat beside his hurting wife and begged and prayed that God would take that pain away. The pain did seem to subside a bit, so we decided to still go to church, but that I would stay in the car and listen online. And as I was sitting in the car, the thought popped into my head that I should step out of the car and see if God had taken care of the pain. I thought, no, that was silly, so I didn't. After church, on our way to the kids' place, we were planning on how I would manage to get down the stairs to their basement apartment. I stepped out of the car, walked up the sidewalk and down the stairs. The horrible pain was gone. God took that pain away. Definitely an answer to prayer. That was miracle number 2, actually. We had a wonderful time with the kids. I still had the pain from before, but it was much more manageable, like from before my slip there. A bit of background on my next answer to prayer. Middle of October, my daughter, who works at the Pan Am Clinic, she's here today, and if you've had surgery there, she probably was taking good care of you. She insisted and took me there to see if we could get some answers. The doctor there was great and discovered quickly there was something very wrong, and I needed to be in the hospital for further testing. So Stan took me to the Selkirk Hospital, and because of the restrictions, he had to drop me off at the door and watch as I was wheeled down the hall. He did not hear anything for the next few hours. I can't imagine even how that must have felt. For me, the next few hours were a blur of activity. IV put in, tests, blood tests, hooked up to a heart monitor, etc. The doctor on call came and told me that all indicators were that my cancer was back, and it didn't look good. They would know more once all the test results were back. Whoa, that was not what I wanted to hear. Stan, who is my rock and everything to me, was not allowed to be there to support and comfort me. That was one of the worst times in my life. I was so distraught. And here's where the miracle comes in. As I'm laying there in this little cubicle of a room, crying, feeling so alone and so scared, terrified of what this could mean for me, I called out to God. In the hustle and bustle of the ER, I heard a still small voice saying, "I will take care of you." Not a shadow of a doubt in my mind where those words came from. A peace and calm flooded that little room. That peace that filled me that moment is still with me to this day, over a year later. That peace was still there when I got my diagnosis a few days later, breast cancer metastasized to the bone, stage 4. The peace is still there when I think of an uncertain future, and that peace carries me through a world that seems like it has gone crazy. Romans 15:13, may the God of hope fill you with joy and peace as you trust in him, so you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Miracle number 3. Thank you, Jesus. A little bit more. When I was working on what I was going to share, I prayed that God would give me the words that would be able to encourage. Thank you. The words seemed to flow onto the paper, and I felt okay with what I was sharing. Then the doubts started coming. No, that's way too much detail. No, people don't want to hear this. No, that sounds silly. I ripped up what I had written and started over. Did that again 2 days later. Was getting a bit frustrated. Then it hit me. Satan was trying to discourage me, and I knew I couldn't let that happen. I asked a few friends to pray for me, and last Monday at our Equip class, I felt that discouragement again. So I dared open my mouth and asked if they could pray for me. They gathered around me and prayed for me. Thanks, guys, you know who you are. They promised prayer support as I am up here today. To wrap this up, that I am up here with no pain, not even a limp, I am so grateful. That he could take my pain away so we could enjoy our day with the kids in Edmonton was amazing. That his peace could fill me, knowing that I have a God who will take care of me like he promised. If Stan had been allowed to be in that little room in the ER with me when I heard the dreaded C word, would I have been listening for that still small voice? Maybe, but I really don't think so, because I would have depended on him for strength and comfort. God does answer prayers. We have experienced it. He does not always answer as fast or the way we want them answered. We have to trust him that he knows best. My testimony is that God can give peace and hope in a dark world when things are so hard. Just wait for him. He is there.
All right. I don't know how to follow that up, but I guess I have to, so we're going to see what I can do. All right, so I just want to start off by saying, if you saw somebody over there on the floor while we were singing No Longer Slaves crying, that was me. Yeah, that was a big moment for me because, yeah, as I knew that I was coming up here, I was just like singing those words. And I was like, wow, this right here, me standing up here and talking to all y'all would have been like was one of my biggest fears for a long time. And so the fact that I'm here sharing with y'all is just like, yeah, me declaring that I'm no longer a slave to fear. I'm going to be sharing on the topic of identity today. Identity is a huge topic for me because God has like radically shifted my identity. It's actually crazy what like identity in God can do. And I'm so excited to share with you so that hopefully y'all can, I hope to see lots of you have, yeah, your identities changed wildly like I have. Yeah, if God had not changed my identity the way that he did, yeah, I would definitely not be up here speaking to you, and I definitely, absolutely would not be speaking to you on the topic of identity. Yeah. But yeah, identity is just like, it's so cool. When you have your identity in God and not in like people, it's crazy. I've had my identity like all my life in people and what people thought of me and like, yeah, just like looking at people for validation and confirmation. But something that's so cool, a little secret I have to share with you is when you have identity based in God, the cool thing is I don't have to answer to any of you. I don't have to like look at any of you, and you don't have to like acknowledge or say that I did a good job or even think that like, yeah, even necessarily like what I shared. If I blow this up, I completely mess up this message, then I can just look to God and say, I was following you, I tried to love your people, I messed it up. I don't have to look at any of y'all and say, shoot, I messed this up. I can just look at God and say, I'm just following you. Yeah, I don't have to walk off stage like I would have always done and go to like my best friends, my family, be like, how did I do? How did it go? And I just go and ask them that because I know that their answer is going to be, oh, you're fine, you did such a good job, and so I know that it'll build me up. There's no way that they're not going to say that, so it'll just automatically build me up. That's a huge form of like just insecurity showing up because, yeah, if you don't have like security in God, then you just look to other people and then they'll build you up and it'll be fine. But I can just go off stage and just show up to God and say, I'm doing this for you, I'm following you. Yeah, and Jesus was an example of that. He didn't when he shared his messages all over in the Bible, he didn't go and like didn't try pleasing everyone, wasn't like going out and just trying to like, yeah, please the people that he was speaking to. He just shared what he knew he needed to share. And if people didn't like it, it is what it is because he was just following God. He was just trying to please God. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and then I'll get into a bit of a testimony. So my name is Ormando or Ormsy or Orm or son or brother, depending on who you are to me. Yeah, I've been your average bro living in north of here in that direction for a long time, just living, yeah, kind of just chilling. Didn't really know who I was, didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just going through life. But then there came about half a year ago, there came just times where I was like, I need to like figure out what life is about. I can't just like live and just blindly just do what I'm doing and just walk in a direction with no like identity or purpose or passion. So I took the shot and applied for the school ministry in Toronto. So in September, I went to the school ministry. Yeah, and that was just such an amazing decision for me. And so, yeah, it's this 5-month just like school where you learn about lots of stuff about God and about yourself and about healing. And at the end of it, last month, I went on a mission trip to South Korea. It was super cool. Yeah. Yeah, before school, my identity was so rooted in people and just like pleasing people and being seen as cool, being seen as like, yeah, here's a cool guy, hype man. Yeah, so I had an intense fear of failing, messing things up, being seen as a loser or failure. And so I'm going to take my testimony and talk about soccer, which is a sport that I love a lot. Yeah, but my journey playing soccer took a turn for me. So, yeah, all my life I loved the game of soccer. I loved playing soccer. I played goalie in soccer, and eventually I started getting pretty good, I think. But as I got better and better at soccer, the fun of the sport turned sour for me. Eventually, I was able to play for a team with a bunch of my friends competitively in Winnipeg, which was was like my absolute dream since I was super young. These games should have been highlights of my week, and the idea of playing was really cool and was a highlight. But as game day came, I just kind of started dreading playing. As we got more near game time, I just got really nervous of messing up and of being a failure or a loser. Many of my best friends were playing on the team or watching the games, which should have been really exciting for me, but it was not as exciting as it could have been. Yeah, as my team was getting hyped about playing together, being on like making plays, being on the team together, and just having a great time playing soccer, which it's the dream. I'd be having thoughts in net of just like of getting injured or of leaving the game. So that I'd leave a hero getting injured while playing soccer, getting injured while playing goalie, while we're ahead. I'd leave a hero, and all my friends would be like, oh wow, you're so committed and dedicated, you got injured and now whatever. So I'd have like thoughts of just getting injured so I wouldn't have to play long enough to inevitably fail or to inevitably let my team down. Yeah. So, yeah, a game that I started playing because I loved it became such a huge source of insecurity for me. Every time I stepped on the field, I was just scared of being seen as a failure or a loser. But it has turned around. When I went to school of ministry and as I've grown, it's turned around. I cannot believe that the same guy who was scared to go step out on the soccer field, scared to play a sport because he was scared of being scared of being seen as a loser or a failure, is now sharing on stage in front of a people, the center of attention for so many people right now. It's crazy. Yeah, and this is just one example of many that I could share about how having an identity based on people, on what people thought, sucked the joy out of life and sucked the joy out of so many things that could be so awesome but became so not awesome for me. This lack of identity and security caused me to strive every day to gain people's approval and hide my flaws, which became super draining. In the midst of this, I didn't really realize how bad it was, how bad my insecurity was. But in hindsight, I can see how bad it really was. It was pretty bad. But yeah, I thought before, during that, I thought I was doing good. I thought I was living the good Christian life fine, because if God is all that matters, if your relationship with God is all that matters, and just worshiping God is all that matters, then what does it matter if I hate myself, or if I'm scared of doing anything, or what does my relationship with myself matter if God is all that matters and chasing after him is all that matters? And eventually I realized that my relationship with God could obviously use some work, but that my relationship with myself could definitely use some work. So that's when I decided to go to the School of Ministry. And in the School of Ministry, we had this one week called the Healing Life's Hurts Week. It was a lot about forgiveness and inner healing and healing your traumas of the past and your, So I did lots of forgiving myself, and then I got angry at myself or something happened, and I had to forgive myself again, and I had to forgive myself again. There's lots of forgiveness of myself that happened. And yeah, eventually I realized that that having my identity, I realized how broken my image of myself was, and I didn't really have any solid identity and view of myself. And I knew that God was the only way that could change. So that's where I I just let the Lord take over. Yeah. So I began to let go and give God more and more of me and let go of the things I previously held on to. God's view of me is so much better and will always be so much better than the view of myself. So if I can just look at God for how I see myself, then it'll just be so much better. Wow, time is flying by. We're all children of God. So we are what he is. We are his descendants, so everything we know of God is true of us too. We're his children, so we have his blood in us. So that was it's just super cool, because any line from a song, this is where it hits pretty hard for me, is when we sing, God, you're the waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. We're saying that about God, but we are gods, so that means I am also a waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. And so yeah, I have this dog tag I wear that I got at the school of ministry. It says Ormando Reimer, light in the darkness, because that's who I am, and I heard God tell me that's who I am. So yeah, no one can take that away from me. God told me that's who I am, so no one can take that away from me. And I'm up here, I'm telling God, I'm a light in the darkness. That's what I'm trying to be up here. So God, just I'm doing this for you. I'm following after who you said I am. You said I'm a light in the darkness, so that's what I'm trying to be right now. I'm just following your lead. All right. Okay, now I'm going to talk quickly about the confident identity that we all need to have, as our identity as God's children. If we believe that the whole Bible is true and that it is the inspired Word of God, then it is important that we live powerfully in our identity in Him. It says many times in the Bible that we are made by God, we are made in His image, we are His sons, we are His daughters. And so if we believe that what God says is true and that the Bible is fully true, then we need to believe we are made by Him, and we are we are made to do amazing things as children of God. If we can believe that what God says about Himself and what God says in the Bible, if we can believe parts of it, then we need to be able to believe what God says about us as well. And this means we can't say we are terrible or lowly. We need to live confidently as children of God. And now, as I've gone way over time already, I'll share one last picture, and then I'll be done. So it's one cool picture that really brought this whole thing of living confidently as gods, and not saying, oh, I'm some lowly sinner, I'm just this terrible person. It's all God, it's not me, it's all God. One picture that really just that brought that to life is a picture of imagining that God is an artist and we are all His artwork. He made each and every one of us. He made us with lots of intention and purpose, and He made each and every part of us exactly how He wanted us. And so if we go out and we're just living some bland, dull life, and we're going around, we're oh, I'm this terrible person, I make all these mistakes, don't look at me, it's all God. That doesn't, if an artist makes art and that everyone goes and says, wow, that art is terrible, what does that say about the artist? What does that say about God if we're going and saying we're this terrible person? But if we're living confidently, if we're living in who we are, and we say, oh, God made me and I'm amazing, I'm gonna do all these things because God made me. It's way better for an artist to have people go and say, wow, that artwork is so cool, that artwork is so amazing, That's so much better. I want to be that artwork that God is proud of and that other people see and they're like, wow. They look at God and they're like, wow, God made this amazing piece of art. So yeah, identity is a pretty important topic to me. I would have lots more to share, but I can't hog the mic the whole time. So yeah, I just hope that y'all can just really embrace living your identity in God, because He made you so amazing. He made you with so much intention. So be that amazing artwork of God's.
Well, good morning. I'm Petrus. This is my wife, Leigh-Ann. And we just agreed. My wife's better with detail than I am. If you ask me, we were in South Africa. We trusted God. We're here now. But she'll give you more details.
Okay, we're done now. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. So, as he said, we're from South Africa, and it's been quite a journey to get here, and we are honored to be here today and share this with you, and we hope it can encourage some of you as you are in your seasons right now. So when we got married, God challenged us to go on this journey of getting out of debt. And after that was done, we felt, okay, now we're ready to start buying a house. And we thought, what would we do? And we always had this desire to farm, but in South Africa, you won't hear it in the news now, but it's very, very dangerous for our people to live on a farm right now. So we felt that's not an option. And so we've asked God, like, you put this desire in our hearts. What do you want us to do? And we felt God said, come to Canada. Now, we didn't know anyone in Canada, no friends, no family, and we've never even been in Canada. And so he specifically even heard Winnipeg. Now, in South Africa, you don't hear about Winnipeg. No one knows what that is. We heard about Toronto and Vancouver. So we said, okay, if God really wants us in Winnipeg, He will confirm it. And so we started our immigration process. It was supposed to take 4 to 6 months with the route that we were taking, and we needed a certain amount of money. And guess how much that was? Exactly how much, with give or take $100, how much we had saved up after becoming debt-free. And so, yeah, woo! And then we started that, we confirmed and we started the journey, and what was supposed to take 4 to 6 months. And in that time, we told everyone, oh, we're on our way to Canada, see you. Started selling some of our stuff, started like planning as if we're on our way out. What was supposed to be 4 to 6 months turned into 2 years, and that was a really tough time. It was a limbo stage because we felt our time in South Africa was over, and we were anticipating this new season, but we were stuck in the middle, not knowing when it was gonna come. And psychologically, being in limbo is one of the hardest spaces to be in. And in that time, we were isolated because some of our people started withdrawing because they knew there was potentially an expiration date on the relationships. And new people, we were a bit guarded because we knew, well, we can't invest too much because maybe it won't last, right? And so then in the waiting time, we decided, okay, let's start a family while we're waiting. Otherwise, we might never have a family if we're waiting this long. And so we had our first baby, and then when he was a newborn, God said, well, then we got confirmation, we got our visas, we can come. But then we started hearing rumors about this virus that's slowly spreading. Stop laughing. That's why I tell the stories. So we heard about this virus. They're going around the world, and no one knew what it was. And now we were supposed to travel because apparently it got transmitted through people who travel, right? And now we were going to travel with a newborn. So it was we had our doubts. Should we wait? Should we go? And then on the radio, the song Waymaker was playing, and we just felt in our hearts God saying, go, 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 this urgency. And so we said, okay, let's go, go, go. Where do we book our flights for? We haven't heard anything about Winnipeg again in 2 years, so let's just do Vancouver. It's better for our jobs. The climate is more like South Africa, so we thought that just made sense in our understanding. And so we booked our flights for Vancouver, we gave up our jobs, we gave up our lease where we were staying at, we sold the rest of our stuff. There we were with 2 suitcases, nothing else, and our beautiful newborn baby, and now we're at the airport. We said, bye everyone, we're out of here. And then they said, oh, sorry, Canada just closed their borders because it's now a pandemic. And there we were at the airport, stranded. And so, oh, yeah, that was quite rough. So I have a slide there. I skipped the verse part, but so the part where we felt God say, go, 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 we had no vision. We did not know what was coming. We had no security in what was going to happen. And it's like what they felt in the boat. They thought it was a ghost. They weren't sure. They thought it was Jesus, but is it? Are we seeing right? Are we hearing right? And so, what slide is this? No, go to the first one, please. In fear, Jesus immediately said, don't be afraid. And then Peter even said, if it's you. He didn't say, yes, Jesus, I know it's you, I'm coming. He said, if it's you, I'm still not sure, but I'm going to take this step. And that's what we did. And so we booked our things. And now we were in this position where, oh no, everything's falling apart. What do we do now? Did we hear right? We started doubting how we were hearing God's voice. And then we went to my dad's house. He stays in a really small place. He's very cautious, so his curtains are always closed. So it kind of felt in the season and in sort of more tangibly, like it was more like a prison time. In South Africa, it was one of the strictest lockdowns in the world. Like you couldn't leave your house. Only one person can go to the store and come back. Military was, what? Deployed to parole the streets to make sure everyone stays in. So we were very trapped in this already uncertain season. And then he decided, oh, my poor husband, so now he's staying with his father-in-law, unemployed, with a newborn. And so, oh my goodness. So he started applying for jobs. And it's really, really hard to get a job while living abroad, like not being a citizen already, because if it was so easy, we wouldn't have waited 2 years to come. So he applied for a few jobs in Vancouver, and then he saw, wait a minute, there's this one that looks really interesting, but it's in Winnipeg, let me just apply. And also the economy is shaky because it's now a pandemic, so the chances are even slimmer to actually get a job from the other side of the world. Any case, and so, try this side. And then he got the job in Winnipeg. So there was our confirmation, right? And so he started working. It was the most awkward hours. But then his employer said, but you need to come over quite soon because you don't have a Canadian bank account, so we can't pay you. So even though he has a job, we're not getting paid. And our savings was like running out. And so then we heard of repatriation flights. Now, if you don't know what that is, we didn't know either. Basically, countries can arrange flights for their citizens around the world during times like that where there are no flights available and get them home safely. And so we heard about repatriation flights, and there were only 6 available from South Africa to Canada. And so we had to get on these. And so the first one we couldn't get on, and that one luckily we did not. Luckily, it turned around. It was turned around on the runway. So it was good then that we didn't get on, is what I was trying to say. And then so we were trying, and also these flights were super expensive. It was $20,000 just for the 2.5 of us. So it was really, we were wondering, but also we were going to lose a job, which is in Winnipeg. So we took another step of faith. And also during that time, we were wrestling with God, like, what's happening? We took a step of faith. It feels like we're drowning. And just like Peter did, so he was walking on water, and then suddenly he lost his sight on Jesus, and he started drowning. And that was what happening to us as well. And so while wrestling with God, we just repeated to ourselves, you're the way maker, you're the miracle worker, you're the promise keeper, light in the darkness. Even when I don't see or feel that you're working, you never stop working. And so we just meditated on that over and over and over again. And so eventually we managed to get a spot on the 6th and last flight. No, not all yet. So we didn't have, well, I didn't really have peace about it. And so I heard through a friend that, Amsterdam, like they have extra spots on their final repatriation flight, and maybe that can be a link towards Canada. And so even though we just booked this one, we still didn't have peace, so we said, you know what, let's just take a step and book that one as well. And so we heard that it was already full by that time, and so I just called KLM in any case, and I said, listen, we heard about this flight. She said, yes, sorry, it's full. Oh, wait. Oh, there was just a cancellation for 3 seats. And so we booked it. And then that Friday, we got on that first KLM flight, and there we were off. And then later we heard that the one that was the Monday the 6th one, was canceled. Yeah. And so... Okay, and so that was the moment where we could feel that Jesus was actually now pulling us up from the waves. And so I even remember the moment the wheels, because there was so much uncertainty. Even though we had flights, they could get canceled. There was we couldn't put our hope in anything really except Jesus' promise. So at the moment the wheels of the plane touched the runway in Toronto, like we're here, we can't be turned around anymore, we're here. My tears just started weeping. It was just such relief, like finally it's over. And so then you can go to the next one. And so what was really interesting about this scripture for me was the last part, verse 32, when the wind died down. Like it was only like Jesus had the power from the beginning to stop the storm and get them off the boat, right? But why didn't he? That would have been way easier for everyone, right? But we have been talking about them today still. Like we don't talk about the other guys in the boat. We talk about the one that stepped out in faith. And also the character that's been grown. So Jesus knew that they will be okay, but he's got them. And so I hope that our story can encourage you during your storm right now. And so here we are today. We bought our farm, our dream farm. We got it. We're raising our kids on it. We have jobs that we're so passionate about. We left our family and friends behind, but God blessed us with a spiritual but also literal family, because come on, you're all related, right? So we have family. Yes, okay, so.
Yeah, so, I'd like you to engage in this story as well, because God has a similar story for you. So I would like you, if you feel comfortable with this, just where you're sitting, just close your eyes. And as you're sitting there, just clear your mind and ask God, what is it you're asking of me? What is the mission you have for me? And don't allow doubt to steal that. God, or Jesus says, my sheep hear my voice. So what is it that God's saying to you? What is it he wants you to do next? What is your Winnipeg?